At 11:30 this morning, Mario Cipollini holds court after notching his first win of this year's Tour de France. Yesterday, he was untouchable in a perfect sprint, which also gave him his 18th win of the year. Almost the bigger talking point, Cipollini's illegal red shorts. The race referee says he shouldn't wear them, so why does he?
Moi j'aime les couleurs rouges avec la maillot des champions italiens et je vais mettre comme ça.
Well, you know, I think Mario Cipollini has made his point, because yesterday the race referees didn't fine him, and in fact I think they've given up with him. Well, we have a pair of those red shorts and we're going to give them away as part of our prize in this week's quiz, and we'll give you more details on that later in the programme. At 12:30, 192 riders, 6 have already retired, leave Wasquehal in northern France before large crowds. They're now set fair for Nogent-sur-olse, at the nearest they'll come to Paris until July the 21st. Today, the route is 195 kilometres of undulating roads, with no climbs to note, except a small hill near the finish. There are 3 time bonus sprints along the way, which could prompt a change in overall leadership. Alex Zula is the race leader, but his yellow jersey could pass today to the Frenchman Frédéric Moncassin. Zula leads overall by just a second ahead of Moncassin, then follows Evgeny Berzin. Miguel Indurain is 6th, Chris Boardman a relaxed 8th, Mario Cipollini is 20th, Britain's Max Chiandri is 80th, and the last man in the race, Joachim Castelblanc of Colombia. The first sprint coming today at Douai after 43 kilometres, and Frédéric Moncassin didn't get any time bonus at all in his quest for the yellow jersey. In fact, it was the Italian Fabio Baldato who got the 6-second win bonus. Jerome Blylavens was 2nd, and Jan Zerada got 2 seconds for finishing 3rd. Chris Boardman in the peloton today. The reports in the papers around Britain yesterday, I think, a little bit exaggerated. Yes, he did fall off, but it was only a minor tumble. He was quickly back on his bike.
Well, the riders have ideal racing conditions today, although the skies still are cloudy over France. The possibility of a rainstorm later in the afternoon, and highs still climbing up a little bit, 16 to 18 degrees Celsius, and winds as they have been for the last few days from the west.
Now, the riders have made the first 3 hours at an average speed of only 19 miles an hour, so that will give me a chance now to give you details of the competition I mentioned earlier. We would like you to pick the winner of Sunday's stage, which is a mountain time trial between Bourg-Saint-Maurice and Val d'Isère. It's a ride of 30.5 kilometres, and I can guarantee you a sprinter will not win it. When you think you know who is going to win and make your selection, this is the phone number: 0891 11 4400. The first prize, a yellow jersey signed by the holder of it at the end of that stage, a line which is awarded to every stage winner, and a pair of Mario Cipollini's red shorts. Well, the crashes have continued today despite the slow speed. Among the fallers, this one at 80 kilometres to go, Francois Lemarchand and Beat Zeeberg of Switzerland. He is the rider on the right in the Carrera team colours. The Pride a little hurt, but other than that, all okay and back up and running. And so the riders now lining up for the second sprint of the day at Saint-Just-en-Chaussée. 6 riders having gone clear a few kilometres ago. And in this breakaway, Arietta, Peters, Lietti, Vanzella, Eddie Seigneur and Thomas Fleischer. None of them can claim the yellow jersey, but they are preventing the others from doing it. And it looks as though the Motorola man, Flavio Vanzella, who's lost most of the season through injury, but he's got himself fit for the Tour de France, has gone through first there.
Well, that was a good move. He went over the line ahead of Lietti, and in fact an old teammate of his, Wilfred Peters, they used to ride together on the same MGGB team a couple of years ago. Here from the helicopter you get a chance to see just how easily he took that sprint. But what's more important is these bonus time seconds are going away from Frédéric Moncassin and the other sprinters who are trying to take the lead away from Alex Zula.
There's the main field, so they're only seconds behind. They had stretched it out to over a minute. It's a lot less than that now, so the field reacting. And in fact, once more, it is the Saeco teammates of Mario Cipollini who are trying to close this race down. I'm not so sure whether it's the sort of finish that Cipollini will like when he gets there to see it, but at the moment they're trying to put him back into the race. Now in this breakaway, Marco Lietti, who's just taken second place in that sprint. Marco was the rider, in fact, who's ridden 4 tours. He's never finished any of them. His most unlucky is coming after he won a stage at Gap in 1991, because the next morning before the race started, he was knocked off while he was warming up in the side streets and was taken away with a broken leg. He's in the breakaway here. He wears number 46, if you can spot him. And now it looks as though the breakaway, realising the big field is coming down, themselves is having a little bit of an in-fight.
Well, after that move there was a great attack over the top of the hotspot sprint there by Eddie Seigneur, the man at the front here from Gagny. Local rider, actually. He started off in a club from Beauvais, which is not too far from where we're sitting here on the finish line. He's joined directly by Marco Lietti, but behind the main field, hovering at round about 30 seconds, and most of the work again being done by the Seiko team of Mario Cipollini, who feels that he's got another chance of winning today. But you know, it's very difficult for a sprinter to win 2 days on the run.
There's the confirmation of that sprint we've just seen. Vanzella, Lietti, Peters in that order. And the gap has opened up. These roads here in northern France, quite frankly, are not made for the late escape, are they?
Most certainly not. They're very straight and long, undulating roads like this, and you can see the group from a long way off, at least a minute, minute and a half. But information coming to us now over the radio, in fact, that the main field behind has sat up a little bit, and it might be a chance for the 3 riders caught out in that split to claw their way back to the leading 3 riders.
Here's the Seiko boys now, back in the action, having to drag the race back up to a late breakaway. Well, it's about time they started to turn these pedals briskly. They're running well over an hour behind schedule today because of their slow pace. No apparent reason for it. They just didn't race, and their average speed for the first 3 hours was only 30 kilometers an hour. That's around 19 miles an hour.
Great chance here to see the way that a team works together. The important thing for Mario Cipollini was to surround himself with big, strong riders who could ride over the fast few closing kilometers of a race and bring all these breakaways back into the fold, because that's what he wants to do. He wants the whole field to come to the finish line together and give him another chance of opening up that sprint. Looking back down here, you can see the chasing group of 3 riders. They're 10 seconds behind the leading 3, and that all happened after a counter-attack by Eddie Seigneur when they came through that last hotspot sprint. The main field is 37 seconds behind at the moment.
And as Paul was speaking, they've knocked it down to 33. Sorry about the little bit of picture interference here, as we try to get down amongst the riders. 1 or 2 tumbles today again, but none have been serious. But one rider who's abandoned the race, as we watch yet another attack here now. And we're going up, there's the Breton flag over the top. This is the climb of Dorgenlieu. And a nice little sprint by Eddie Seigneur to remind everybody. He got the 2nd place though, and the man who got over there in front was in fact the Spanish rider Arrieta. So Arrieta gets 1st on the only climb of the day, and 2nd was Seigneur, 3rd was Marco Lietti. And quickly back into an order. They might well ease up a little bit now and allow the other 3 riders to come back up to the breakaway, because 6 are more likely to stay clear than 3, with the main field coming up right behind them. So there's a matter of around 30 seconds. 6 riders on the attack today. I'm not so sure they'll still be there when we come back after the break.
Today's impressive feat belonged to the man who holds the record for consecutive stage wins. We'll tell you who he is after the break. In the 1909 Tour, Francois Fabet of Luxembourg won a record 5 stages in a row, including one where his interpretation of the term push bike seemed a bit on the literal side. Anyway, those 5 consecutive stages helped him to the overall victory and made him the first ever non-French winner of the Tour. Of course, these days it's the other way round. A French winner would be a novelty. And on the subject of un-French activities, today is a bit of a departure from tradition in itself, because stage 3 is usually the team time trial, a chance to appreciate self-sacrifice, the collective spirit, and a clean, uninterrupted shot of the sponsor's logo multiplied by 9. This year, though, it's been squeezed off the race schedule for reasons we're about to explain. So if you're a fan, I'm afraid you'll have to make do with the next 3 minutes. The look of the team time trial is that of a bunch of futuristic commuters sharing the workload on the way to the office. And at first glance, it's about as dramatic, but it does contribute its share of Tour incident.
Oh, there's been a crash here, and this is a disaster for Ali Austria. They were recording the best time without a shadow of a doubt. They've collided on that left-hand bend, and they've all gone down here. But I think Argentin and Rolf Sorensen have been lucky, and they've missed it. The rest of the team don't know what to do. Well,
although he crashed in 1991, Rolf Sorensen's team had been pulling him along at such a good lick, he still managed to limp onto the podium to take yellow. In 94, it was the other way round. Chris Boardman's blazing individual speed secured the race lead. His team's collective lack of it let it slip. And that's been the criticism of the team time trial, that it has too much say in the individual standings. It certainly didn't do Tony Rominger any favours in 1993. He went into it 18 seconds behind Miguel Indurain and came out of it down by nearly 2 minutes. Being penalised didn't help, neither did having only 4 teammates fit enough to finish. The biggest team time trial loser, though, was Stephen Roach in 1991, who turned up late to find his team had set off without him and ended up being eliminated. Still, he remains a big fan of the team stage, apparently on aesthetic grounds.
I think it's a bit unfortunate, really, for the spectacle of the Tour de France in itself, because I think the Tour de France is a very beautiful event. When you see the riders all in harmony, it's very difficult, but it's a very spectacular event, I think, and it's a pity this year it's not in Tour de France.
So why is it missing this year? Well, it depends who in the Tour organisation you ask.
Je crois qu'il faut pas rester toujours avec les mêmes programmes, les mêmes choses faites au même endroit. Le Tour de France, c'est pour changer, pour innover, pour que les coureurs perdent un petit peu leurs habitudes. Et bien sûr, c'est ça qui fait aussi la beauté de la course.
Je ne prends pas ça pour une innovation, c'est un regret. Car lorsque nous avons préparé le parcours du Tour 96, nous avions prévu un contre-la-montre par équipe au lac de Madine. C'est un très beau parcours. Et puis, vous savez que les règlements de l'UCI nous contraignent de faire le Tour de France dans 23 jours.
And it was the team time trial that had to go. A move that's affected just who gets selected for the race.
Ja, oké, nou moet je misschien meer renners hebben voor de bergen en niet voor de tijdrit. En gewoon 1 renners hebben of 2 in de ploeg voor de tijdrit individueel en niet voor de ploegentijdrit. Maar het is misschien mooi een keer zo'n tour zonder ploegentijdrit, maar in de volgende jaren zou het weer beter zijn met een ploegentijdrit.
Not that he'd admit it, but the man who stands to gain most from the absence of the team stage is the race's outstanding individual.
If there's a team time trial this year, Indurain would have found himself very, very far behind before the mountains next week, because they honestly have an incredible team for a team time trial, contrary to the Vanessa team of Miguel Indurain.
And we have a team time trial going here now. 3 riders surviving of that 6-man breakaway: Eddie Seigneur, Marco Lietti and Jose Luis Arrieta. They've been told the gap is still just over half a minute, and they're coming through to the 3rd and final time bonus sprint of the day. So Frédéric Moncassin is not going to get a shot at this one either, so he'll have to put it all on the sprint if they can bring back these 3. This is Lietti on the front. These time bonuses not meaning too much to this breakaway. The more concern now is staying away and winning the day's spoils.
Well, certainly this man would love to. When Eddie Seigneur, the former French national champion, he lost that title to a teammate over the last weekend before the Tour de France, and he comes from this area. He was actually started cycling with the Visive Beauvais, which is not too far away from here, and these riders fighting to keep away from the main field at the moment. But still, it's always that team of Mario Cipollini's, the Seiko boys, moving to the front, and it's going to be very hard for this group of 3 riders to stay away.
So it looks as though the man who will pull on the polka dot jersey tomorrow as leader in the King of the Mountains, Arrieta, has just done his little bit at the front, quickly relieved there by Lietti. And then comes Eddie Seigneur. You can see one half of his arm warmers there, dangling round by his left wrist. No time to take them off. He quickly joined the attack. And I don't think, Paul, they're going to actually sprint for the prize here. They're going to continue this tempo and work together. Just 50 metres from the line, they're going to let Marco Lietti take the prize. It's around about £50 for each sprint you win, and then carry on with the pressure.
It's much more important for these 3 riders to work together, not to cause any animosity amongst themselves by sprinting for the small spoils like that, because the big spoil is at the end of the race. Another 16.5 kilometres to go, and they want to work together, because for today these riders have to be allies to try and get to the finish ahead of the chasing main field.
The other 3 riders who tried to go with them, Wilfred Peters, Flavio Vanzella and Thomas Fleischer from the Lotto team, they've been swept up by the bunch here. And in fact, that didn't seem like 30 seconds to me since they went under that banner. And we've also got right up near the front now, Mario Cipollini. He can scent another win, I think.
Most certainly, his team are well drilled. He said he was a little bit upset over the first sprint, as we get confirmation of the 3rd sprint there that Lietti went over first ahead of Seigneur and Arrieta. Mario Cipollini said he wasn't too happy with the performance of his team in the first sprint of the year because they weren't quite organised. The thing is that they really didn't know how to work for Mario Cipollini because of the fact they've got one of their real members missing, Silvio Martinella, who rode the Tour of Italy this year and then didn't come to the Tour de France, and he was normally the man who took Cipollini into the last 200 or 300 meters.
I believe yesterday I said in my end of race commentary that the riders are approaching the finish at 35 kilometers an hour. Well, I was, of course, meaning 35 miles an hour, and one television spectator back home is Sean Yates, who reminded me of that on the telephone. So thank you for that, Sean. There's a little bit of excitement coming in the peloton now. Look at the movement on the left of our picture here, as riders are now sensing the kill, and they want to make sure that they're in the position with their sprinters, because once they get into Nogent, the roads are quite narrow. There's some dangerous turns, and this lovely wide road will simply disappear. And if you're going to go for the finish, you've got to get your men into the top 15 riders before we close in on the finishing town. The red shorts there of the Agrigel team.
Strange to see those riders moving up there. In fact, you can see a lot of teams starting to move up now. The Telecom boys also are moving up around the outside. Everybody can feel the fact that the race is coming back together. On the left-hand side, you can see a line of yellow jerseys, and that is the TVM squad trying to move their man up, Jeroen Blijlevens. He's just at the end of that, and you see there's what the riders call a quack, which is a Belgian word for a move right across the road. In fact, you see he ran out of road there, and that's exactly what can happen when everybody moves and changes direction. If you're in the wrong position, all of a sudden you're off the road and you're 20 or 30 places back, all the way back.
And they're all together. They all came together very, very suddenly. There was a real turn of speed there by the whole peloton, and you saw from the helicopter the 3 leaders wiped out. And so now it is down to the sprinters or an opportunist. And the team of Panaria at the front now, because their man Jan Zerada wears a green jersey as leader of the race on points. But there's 7 kilometers to go, thereabouts. They're now going to feel that perhaps this is the day for Jan Zerada, the only rider in the event from the Czech Republic. He used to be a Slovak, but he's changed his nationality. Survival is the main watchword down there in the big bunch at these very dangerous moments in every stage finish at the Tour de France. Only the sprinters, like Mario Cipollini, take part at the front in the last kilometre or so. The rest feel they've done their job and hope that their team sprinter will do his, because all of the riders on the same team always share the money each day won by the riders in their squad. Now we've got the Gay Whiz boys on the front. Nicola Minali, the little sprinter, is the man they're hoping to take to the line first. They also have, don't forget, Evgeny Berzin lying third overall in this race. He won't take part in the chase down. His job to lie low in the centre of the pack. And hopefully when we get down to the mountain time trial in a week's time, remember that's our competition as well, hopefully he'll do a great ride in that competition and keep himself high in the overall classification. In that time trial, rather.
There are 3 or 4 teams now trying to organise themselves, and in fact you're getting the Seiko team and the Gay Whiz team in the light blue jerseys mixing it up together now. This is interesting to see that Gay Whiz have now decided that they've got confidence in Nicola Minali. He's been out for most of this season. He finished 4th in the first sprint. He finished outside the top 10, although he did look as if he was trying to get up there in the sprint into Wasquehal yesterday. Maybe today is going to be his turn, but all the time you can see that 3 or 4 riders from the same team stay together. It's so that they can help each other out. The Seiko rider there looking over his shoulder looks very much like Eros Poli. What he's doing is looking to see where Mario Cipollini is, because he doesn't want to make an effort with somebody else on his wheel.
And in fact he's still there. You can just see his green top jersey bobbing in and out, about 9 men behind that particular line of riders. While on the other side of the road, little Jan Zerada in his green jersey has come right up to the front on the wheels of the purple top Panaria riders, his teammates. It's a sweeping right-hand bend here, lots of gaps, and then a flick left. And still the pacemakers are screaming down towards the finish now, and I can tell you now the pace is certainly 35 to 40 miles an hour on this downhill stretch.
It's a very dangerous time as well, because they're not just turning into the town of Nogent-sur-olse and driving over the last few kilometers. I have to admit, 1 or 2 of those corners were very, very narrow. 3 kilometers to go now, and you've got the whole field together. It's going to be a massive bunch sprint, unless somebody can fox them, as Vladislav Ekimov tried to do yesterday. But you know, what you have to do at the moment is stay at the front, look for where your sprinter is. You can see one of the Telecom riders there now looking over his shoulder to see if he can see the shadow of Eric Zabel, because he wants Zabel on his wheel. He doesn't want to take somebody like Moncassin or even Mario Cipollini up there. There is Cipollini now in the bottom of the picture, starting to move to the front, looking for one of his teammates to take him up into the final position.
The way they're pushing their riders to the front here, they're sprinting to get round the corner first. Zerada is now about 8th or 9th in line, and he's riding just there as alone, but he's now rapidly trying to move. See the green jersey at the bottom of the picture here? The man who leads this race on points is determined to get a stage win sooner or later, trying to move up towards the front runners, because there's 1 or 2 more nasty switchbacks yet before they come up towards the line.
And now's the time when you should accelerate, because you see if you slow down a little bit, you get swamped. 3 or 4 more riders from Gaywiz moving up down around the outside. A rider from Telecom coming up now, and it looks very much to me as if today's Verada is fighting to get on the wheel of Mario Cipollini, and with that swamping that's taken place, I think Cipollini has dropped back to about 15th or 16th position. It's very difficult at this speed to move up. You have to stay up in the first 10.
Well, Cipollini, you always feel, is the greyhound of world cycling, but he likes a good straight shot at finish.
Well, he's used those last couple of corners there to move up.
Right there.
1 or 2 riders nearly lost it in that corner. Cipollini's got the good position at the moment. He's now in 4th place. You can see him. You can see that jersey and the red shorts, which the commissaires don't like, but it helps us to spot him on the television.
There he is, the green top of his jersey. He's still behind his teammates. He's probably used his elbows to good effect to hold his position. There's riders trying to squeeze up on the inside as well, but the Seiko boys are keeping the pace very, very fast indeed here, and that will restrict the movement of the riders behind to get up to the head of the peloton. They're on the right of the road now. Zabel trying to come through on the left with little Jan Zerada, and Moncassin is also there. So you know he's going to look for the sprint, Paul.
He will do, and he's a tough sprinter as well. It's a very slow sprint up to the top, because there's the last kilometre. There's an attack going down the left-hand side. Looks very much to me as if it's Francis Moreau. There are so many Moreaus in this race at the moment, but this is Francis Moreau, the former world champion. He's trying to pick the pace up, because he could see that there his teammate Frédéric Moncassin was lying in 6th place. He's on the left-hand side there, and he wants to keep the speed high, because he realises a top 3 place could give Moncassin the yellow jersey, but Mario Cipollini's got a great position. He's lying 4th.
Well, it looks as though Seiko are going to launch Cipollini at the finish again. Andre Schmill trying to get on the action on the far right in that crash helmet. But just look at this now. Moncassin is getting in on the picture. He's got the wheel of Cipollini. Remember, a top 3 finish for Moncassin will give him yellow. Now the last Seiko man before they launch the torpedo at the line. He'll go hard. Zabel's coming on the left-hand side. Cipollini's leaving it late, but he's gone now. Zabel on the left, Cipollini in the centre. Zerada has missed out, I think. Moncassin in the white is 3rd. Now the battle for the line. Baldato as well, but it's going to be Zabel, and it's going to be on the line. Wow, I don't know. I think it might be Zabel, but it was very, very close. If I'm a betting man, I'll go for Zabel, but Cipollini, I think, will finish in 2nd place there. What a sprint. He made the mistake, Cipollini, of allowing Eric Zabel to open up the dash for the line. He misjudged it. Now let's have a look, and watch out too for the 3rd place finish. If it's the white jersey, he will get the yellow one, but in fact Zabel came from midway down, and this is where Cipollini should have gone. He allowed Zabel a lot of run at the line, then he starts to rock and roll and wind it up. See to the white jersey of Moncassin, he needs the 3rd place finish and the small time bonus. Zabel had a lot of speed at this point, but the big man, the fastest man in the world, so he tells us, was winding up. And then came the challenge of Jan Zerada onto the shoulder of Moncassin. Moncassin will get the 3rd place, Zabel gets the win, Cipollini gets 2nd, and yellow will go to Frédéric Moncassin tonight. In the end, it's all worked out well for Chris Boardman's GAN team, and Eric Zabel, it was his type of finish. Just look at it once more. On the left of the picture is Zabel, and a lot of speed here. Eric Zabel is the rough, tough sprinter who does triumph on difficult sprints. He won at Charleroi on a very difficult finish there last year in the Tour de France. And you see now the face in the centre of Jan Zerada as he digs deep to try and climb out of that peloton up alongside the leaders. On the line, though, Zabel gets it, and Cipollini will have to be content today with 2nd. And confirmation of that great sprint, a win for Eric Zabel of Germany. In 2nd place, Mario Cipollini, and in 3rd place, Frédéric Moncassin. Chris Boardman and Max Chiandri both finishing safely in the main pack today. And on the podium, we've got Eric Zabel, 5 days before his birthday. You may remember a year ago, he actually won the stage in Charleroi when it was his birthday. The overall situation now has changed. Frédéric Moncassin, 7 seconds in front of Alex Zula, the former leader, 10 seconds ahead of Evgeny Berzin. And these are happy times for the French, because tonight Frédéric Moncassin is the new race leader of the Tour. Now, you could also win yourself a yellow jersey if you correctly predict the winner of the stage next Sunday. Remember, the phone number to ring for our competition is 0891 11 4400. And by the way, we have our own site on internet this year. You can browse through those pages as well, and you can also ask Paul Sherwin and myself some questions. Our programme tomorrow night comes to you 6:25. Until then, goodbye.